Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that in mind, we will pick our teams for the game. Dodie, I'll come to you first. Obviously, Alisson in goal. Could be one or two changes across the back four, but what do you reckon it might be?
Will it be Alisson in goal, though? Yes, it will.
Yes.
It might not be the next game or the Derby game, it has to be said. So expect to see Kelleher in at least one of those. Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Robertson, and I just put Canati back in. Simple as that.
Canate from the start, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Just because the layoff wasn't too long, and I think that Klopp will be probably keen to sort of get him back in, really, because I think he sees him as his first choice alongside Van Dijk, to be honest. And maybe Gomez didn't help his case either by playing as he did at Forest at the weekend, even though he's fantastic against City the other week. So yeah, I think he'll be keen to get Canate back in there, and then the rest probably picks itself in terms of bringing Alexander-Arnold in, Robertson, and obviously Van Dijk stays in there.
Yeah, no Trent at the weekend, Kiefer. So imagine he would come in this one. If it's the same back four for you, you might as well talk us through your midfield as well.
So I've gone for the 4-4-2 then. So I've gone for Elliott on the right, Thiago and Fabinho. As you imagine, Thiago will be fit. I think they've only lost one game together when they started, haven't they? The Champions League final against Madrid. So keep that run going. And then I've gone for Carvalho on the left. I don't think either of them covered themselves in glory the other night, but I don't think it was through fault of trying. I thought just the energy they kind of bring in something different. You might even put Curtis Jones out on that left. He played there kind of at younger age groups, but I would expect it to be Elliott and Carvalho.
Yeah, I'm a little bit different to you. I'm going to go with Jones on the left. I think Henderson might play as well. Obviously, didn't start even though Thiago wasn't there on Saturday. Doherty, which way are you going to go for in midfield?
Yeah, it's the 4-2-3-1. I'm going to have Henderson and Thiago, and I'll come back to the others.
Okay, Vinci, midfield?
Yeah, I think you've got to see Henderson coming in, and I think Fabinho, they're just going to keep dragging him in and out until something sort of fixes itself. So probably Henderson and Thiago in there, and then there isn't I don't know. It's a difficult one with the sort of what's in front of that, I suppose, because in those wide positions you don't really have an awful lot of choice, I suppose, because of the injuries that they've got on the left hand side. So I suppose the obvious choice to go there is if Nunez is available, which we hope he will be, is to maybe put sort of Carvalho on that left hand side. Then you've got Firmino, Salah on the right, and Nunez going up top. The manager doesn't have an awful lot of options. I suppose you could flip it, put Salah back up top and Elliott on the right hand side, but I don't think that worked particularly well. And you're putting a lot on those two youngsters to have them in the team at the same time. If you do that, so I think he'll try and avoid doing that if Nunez is fit.
Kiefer, you've told us your midfield four, so your front two.
We would go for Firmino and Nunez. I was thinking about going Salah, but I think as Lynch just pointed out, then I think sometimes when Elliott and Salah do play on that same side, especially in those kind of you'd expect Liverpool to have a lot of the ball. I think sometimes they do kind of get in each other's way a bit. So I think also it's like we said, Liverpool should have enough to get through it. And I think Salah could obviously do with a bit of a rest ahead of kind of the next couple of weeks before the World Cup. I know he's not going, but just to kind of keep him fresh and ready. I've gone with Firmino and Nunez, and I imagine it'll probably be Firmino, obviously just a bit behind him, and then obviously, like I say, if Nunez is kind of recovered, which it sounds like he has, let him lead the line and hopefully grab a few goals.
Doherty, your front four?
I was just thinking of Milner. I think Milner will get at least half an hour because he's done quite well the last two times he's played. He didn't, he made an important block against West Ham. Made another one. Admittedly, it didn't make much difference against Forest. I thought he was a bit unlucky to be subbed, to be honest. I mean, there was quite a few other players who could have been subbed before him on Saturday, but maybe it was just because he didn't have the legs for it, or he may even be playing on Wednesday. But I wouldn't have him in the team. You'd certainly get half an hour though. In terms of the rest of the team, it'll be Salah on the right and Nunez up front. I think I'm going to go Curtis Jones on the left. But the interesting one is I'd play Elliott behind Salah. I think he's deserved to get into the team. No, not behind Salah, behind Nunez, sorry. I just think he deserved to be in the team. Maybe, you know what? Actually, I've told myself out of that. No, put Fabinho there. This isn't the game to have him doing that. I think if they get through, they might try it against Napoli or do something different, and they certainly can do something against Derby in the League Cup. So let me just remind myself what my team was. It was Salah, Firmino, Jones and Nunez up front. There you go. It is still Monday, isn't it? Yeah, good.
Yes, don't worry, you've not missed your flight. Minji, you've already talked us through, I think, haven't you? So just give us a reminder.
So Carvalho on the left, Firmino in behind, Salah on the right, and Nunez up top. I would quite like to see. I feel harsh on Elliott really taking him out of the team because I think he's been excellent this season. And I do really think that sort of right hand side in the 4-2-3-1 really sort of suits him down to the ground in terms of the mix of slightly less defensive responsibility and also an ability to impact things going forward. So I feel harsh taking him out, but I just think if you're going to have to use Carvalho probably on the left-hand side because of those injuries there. And I just don't, you lose a lot of goal threat if your two wingers are Carvalho and Elliott because they don't, between them have an awful lot of goals behind them at this stage of the career, even though I think in the long term they definitely will. So just putting him in this team at the same time is a bit of an issue for me at the moment. So that's why I would take Elliott out, but it's probably a harsh decision, to be honest.